Just do that. And then just clap. Yeah, it's going to be way off. You just clap. I can probably hear it just slightly in this. All right.
Let's start off here.
We'll sync it with that.
It's a holiday today.
Oh, hold up. You're not picking up.
One day I'll remember to turn my mic on once we start the podcast so we don't have the delay of me not having my mic on.
Let's have another clap so we can sync it.
Let's try this again, my friends.
I'm still going. All right.
Fuck yeah, dude. One day I'll get this right. I love it. Today's a fucking holiday. My favorite one. I hate to say it to all my friends out there. The lovely day of our Lord. Marijuana. Yes,
that is today.
It is today. And I want to point out, not that I don't want to talk about that or lament on it, but I want to start off the fact of, is it strategic that they put the verdict date for the George Floyd killer fucking crisis on 4/20?
If the masses are subdued,
are we subduing the masses in hopes that
they can't protest?
That they won't be protesting? They're like, God, if everyone's high that day, maybe like we won't be getting, like, we can get away with our fucking stupid ass verdict, and nobody will know.
Well, I know this was the thing we do in high school because we knew a guy whose birthday was today. And we loved to fuck with this guy because it'd be so easy to fuck with. But we'd never bring up that it was 4/20. We'd always bring up that it's also Hitler's birthday.
Oh, it's the great dude, the biggest irony of them all.
Yeah. And so he would always, once he kind of got some stuff there, I remember one year he tried, he's just like, here's all the other people's birthdays there today besides Hitler's. And it's just like, yeah, but only one is number one.
Dude, that's some wild shit to say, because there's been, like, I don't want to even estimate the amount of people that have been alive in the history of the earth. Right. You divide that number by 365, and that's the amount of, like, people that have been born on your same birthday. Like, there's statistically going to be some dope people and some shit people born on every fucking day of the year, no matter what date it is.
Right, because I think I've heard people too that they're just like, oh, my birthday's on like Billy Joel's birthday, but whenever my mom gets mad, she brings up it's the day Elvis died or something like that.
Jesus, do you know anyone who has the same birthday as you, like, personally?
As me?
Yeah,
I know people that have close birthdays to me, but nothing my day. No.
So I know somebody who was not only born on the same day as me, but the same year and in the same hospital that is located 2 miles away.
So you got like a...
There's no way we weren't in the, like, same nursing room that day. And I cannot tell you how much this person, I think, hates me. They loathe me with every bone in their body, and I don't know how to say how much I think they, like, cannot... Anytime I brought up the fact that we were born on the same day, they just were like, fuck you, I hate you, like, do not ever bring that up again. I want nothing to be associated with you. And I'm like, come on, we're like, damn, we're in the same hospital, like,
right.
But they fucking hated it. And I don't know what the, I don't know.
It's like this weird twin scenario that you have. And...
Yeah, dude, like,
Did you just have cooler birthdays?
What's that?
Like, did you have a cooler birthday party than them? And so, like, everyone went to yours?
1,000,000%. They weren't that cool. I'm going to be honest with you.
So there's probably, like, this sense that birthdays come around and it's just like everyone's going to go over to Tilly's house and they're not going to come to my house.
And not only that, she actually, and, like, bless her soul, if you're listening to this one day out there, I'm not trying to talk shit, but, like, she was the grade below me, actually. I'm a summer birthday. Kind of like mid-June.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I don't know. I never asked, but she was always in the grade below me. But we were born in the same hospital the same day, so I don't know.
So you guys were same age exactly, and she's a grade below you.
Exactly. Same hospital, same day, you know. And so I don't know if there was some weird animosity that kind of spread from, you know, just like being born same day, whatever. But
Right.
like she hated me. I won't lie, in 7th grade, her older sister, I dated her older sister's best friend, and I know this seems like a dumb chain, you know what I mean? But like, and I didn't know that at the time, but like, I was dating this girl, and I found out her best friend's younger sister was born like on the same day as me, and then once we broke up, I think, you know, I was like, of course, on the fucking chopping block.
I wonder if, like, because you were in that difference, there's just this mentality that you were the thing that every time they saw that was just a reminder that they're not in the right place.
God, maybe it was, dude. Like, I'm so fucking cool, and they're just like, I'm bullshit.
Well, not even that, but it's just like, I'm gonna be honest. I don't think you probably got moved up academically.
No.
So that only can mean that they got moved down academically.
Right. And I will also throw this out there. This was at a private school. I went to a private school in middle school when this was happening too. So this wasn't just at like your standard, just, you know, I don't know. I don't know if that means anything or whatever, but
Right.
like I transferred in, and I transferred like, I don't know. I aced my math shit and was like all in on these like high level classes. Transferred in, and she was a lifer at this school. So I think I don't know. I think I like threatened the birthday, maybe. Like,
yeah,
is that shit that important?
See, my first idea is kind of out the window now, because usually around middle school time, that's about when it separates who goes to what kind of birthday party. Like, usually all the boys go to a boy's birthday party, all the girls go to the girl's birthday party. So it's not like you're poaching any of her friends to go to your birthday party.
there was no overlap.
Just some sort of animosity. Like, if this was like elementary school or something, it'd be like, oh, well, everyone goes to everyone's birthday party.
No. This was just like instantly she found out, knew me without any like pretense, and just was instantly like, fuck you. Did you ever get any invited to like some cool parties that you thought you were out of your league with as a kid?
There was a few times. There's like a few parties I went to where it's just like, I knew their mom made them give out these invitations.
Really?
These are not the people I know.
Dude, in 7th grade, I won't lie, so I transferred to the school I was just talking about. And I joined the basketball team. And back in 7th grade, I was 5'8", like I am now. But 5'8" in 7th grade's like, you're kind of...
pretty tall.
You're pretty tall.
Yeah.
So I was like the tall kid on the team. And I tried out for basketball. And the coolest kid in the whole fucking school, won't name names, but he like a week into me being at this school invited me over to not a week, it had to have been a month at this point because it was Halloween. So school starts September, early like October. He invites me over to Halloween at his house, and this kid lives in the richest like gated community in Utah, down it's called Pepperwood. It's down on like 106 South. It's a gigantic gated community with mansions you would not believe. And he invited me to go to Halloween at his house and to go trick-or-treating in their neighborhood. And it was wild to me because I was like the new kid, and he was the most popular kid in the whole school, you know what I mean? And he invited me over, and I show up not knowing anyone. Everyone's being all wild at this mansion, and I'm just like staring around like, I don't know what the fuck I'm even supposed to do here.
Can I touch anything?
Yeah, like they're all like jumping into the pool, and I'm like, I think that's sacred water. Like, is that a baptismal font? Like, I shouldn't be jumping in there. And next thing you know, dude, we're trick-or-treating around, and these guys are giving out full ass like king size candy bars.
Oh, like the camping
giant. Like, dude, they might as well have been giving out like the bags that most people buy to take the candy out. They were just giving out like the full bag of it at every house. And we got to one house, and they were like, "Yo, we're out of candy, but we got a bunch of like 2 liters. Do you guys got Mountain Dew? And so they gave us 2 liters of Mountain Dew. We're a bunch of 7th graders like running around with king size candy bars
Yeah, it's
and
like
fucking
7th grade
2 liters
jackpot.
of Mountain Dew. And dude, literally, it was the greatest jackpot of my life. I went back
Wow.
home from parents' house, got this 2 liter of Mountain Dew, caught all these king size candy bars. They're like, yeah, you can't go back to that neighborhood again. Like this is skewing your reality.
I had a friend growing up. I mean, they were not in a good financial state at all, but every Halloween, like their dad would drive them down to the gated communities and like toss them over the fence, and it's just be like, I'll be waiting here. And
No,
they'd go through and they'd come back and it's just like they hit one neighborhood and they have like full bags
more
kind of deal.
than anyone.
Yeah, and it's
More
just
than
like,
anyone.
come back over. We're going back to the projects. We're done for the night.
Big gated communities
Yeah.
are kind of awesome because they like, dude, we used to get in some wild shit in that same gated community too.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever played weird like those like fuck, what was it called? Not like cops and robbers almost essentially, but it was like you're running through the neighborhoods and people are driving around and you're like hiding through people's yards.
Yeah,
and
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
we used to do it in that same gated community because the cops couldn't go into the community unless somebody called them in. So they
Right.
wouldn't be patrolling around, and we'd just be fucking like running a ruckus through this like rich ass community. And it was like one kid lived there, and it's like 30 of his hood rat homies that
Right.
just like invade the community, and we're just like running through people's backyard, hiding in their window wells, like fucking acting a fool.
It was funny because so where I went to school, and where I live too, it's like my school, my house, the projects. And so all my friends growing up lived in the projects because no one lived where I lived. It was all like a bunch of retirement people. That for some reason there was like this retirement community right next to the projects, and so we were like the only house that wasn't old people. And so every time I wanted to go play outside, I have to go walk over to the projects to find the people outside. And there was plenty of people outside doing that. So all my friends growing up came from like low income households, and I mean, I would go and like spend the night at their place, and it's just like, yeah, we got the leftover pizza from Costco because that's where his mom worked, so she got all the stuff left over at the end of the night. Or you can have cereal. They don't got milk, they don't got juice, they don't got anything else.
Just the plain cereal.
Just the plain cereal. You can have it with water if you want.
Dog. I don't mean this in a bad way, but like this is a beautiful juxtaposition because I think we just realized, not in a bad way, but like I think we kind of had some slightly different
Right.
upbringings.
Well,
and
that's the other thing too. Is like I was in a I'm from like an upper middle class household.
So this is weird. Okay, so I think this is what I was just about to say. I think that we almost grew up kind of the same, but I grew up like, I don't know how to say this, is like I grew up around a bunch of rich people, and I was like the kind of the poor kid in the rich crowd, maybe, if that makes sense. And in the converse, it almost sounds like we were in the same boat, but you were kind of like the more upper class person.
I was the rich kid in the poor crowd.
The rich kid in the poor crowd, yeah. And that's like almost like we might have been in the same spot, but the experience of like how that was, the experience of it's like almost opposite ends of the spectrum.
But come like middle school and high school, because before the elementary school, I mean, it's just all the people within that general vicinity. There's a shit ton of elementary schools, and just that general vicinity goes into it. Once you hit like middle schools, there's less of them. And once you hit high schools, there's even less of them. There's like a dozen high schools in Vegas, so a lot of people from all over go to them too. Because there was also like specialized high schools, and so the high school I went to for some reason became a specialized high school just for namesake.
Was it then? It was. Do you mean specialized in terms of like one's a film school and one's
sorta? So there were schools like that, and then there were like the magnet schools, and then our school offered CTE certification, so you could get like college credits.
Okay, yeah, I get you.
It was weird. Not college credits, but like resume certificates, shit that you can
right
your stuff with. So I got a buddy that already had like CTE certification in IT.
What is CTE certification? Do you know what that means?
I honestly don't.
Because it sounds like you're talking about certifying in like people who get their head hit too hard in football, which is CTE. So like you're certified,
I
like
have no
you're
clue.
certified brain damage. But
It's a
I
crash
imagine,
course, maybe.
yeah, yes, you
No.
crash and
I
you
don't
get
know.
CTE.
It just means that he was able to throw something down on his resume that just said, "Yeah, I know what I'm
Okay,
doing."
okay, that's cool. All right, that's cool. That's better. I don't got that certification, so I'm not shit either myself.
But the one of the concepts of it though is that we started making friends that were from these rich communities, these rich neighborhoods. And so when we go there, it was kind of funny because I'd be like the middleman, like the liaison of a person going in who has never seen like an in-house washer and dryer before,
Okay,
asking me
okay.
what an in-house washer and dryer is, and I'm
No
like explaining
way.
to them, it's like, yeah, you just they don't have to pay for this because they bought it, kind of deal.
They're
But
like,
then
where?
at
Are
the
they
same
literally like? I am. This is gonna sound terrible. They're like, where do you put the coins in?
right
And
shit like that,
you're like,
yeah.
no, you just push the start button.
Yeah, it's just like no, they do their laundry in the house. They don't have to go to the coin cleaners kind of deal. But then on the other hand too, it's like the one at my house is just this big stainless steel box, and they got like the fancy ones with all the buttons and lights on it that you can see in as stuff is getting cleaned kind of
Right. The like stand up for
right.
like the what do they call them? The like side loads.
Yeah, the
They
side
got a
loads and they're
side
like
loader.
stacked on top of each other, so you got like the washer and then the dryer kind of deal. And it's just like the one at my house was just
The
this
one you
big.
try and stick your little brother in and
Oh,
see if you
you could
can
fit
get
him
him
in there too. Yeah.
shut the door and get it to turn with him in there.
Right.
Yup.
So that was one of the things too. I mean, and then growing up, it's like even though we had that mild income, my parents were still very like conservative on their money spending.
That's fair. That's
so
fair.
it's like we could probably afford that, but we weren't gonna. We didn't need it until the shit that we had breaks. We didn't need it, kind of deal.
Dude, I on this topic, I'll just throw it out there. Like, I don't try and front about my life at all. I'm the youngest of a bunch of siblings. I'm the oopsie child. My parents had me in their late 30s after they were a decade thinking they were done with having kids. And the life my siblings lived and the life I lived are like two completely different stories. When they were growing up, there was just like the family coming up barely. Like my parents were in college or just out of and trying to make a name for themselves.
Yeah.
And when I grew up, like my pops is 45 owning his own business and kind of killing it finally. And I kind of reaped that benefit of
you
it.
Showed up when the money started coming in.
So directly. And I love my siblings to death. And I want to say they hold it against me. When I was younger, dog, they kind of would get jealous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they weren't too happy that I was going on these like fancy trips with my parents because they finally had money and I was the kid that was like born when they
still there too.
I just happened to be there at the time. And my siblings are like, when we were kids, we were happy if we got to go to the RV park for a weekend for our trip. And I'm like, well, we might be going out of country next week. So, like, I'm sorry, dogs. Like, not my fault, but, like, should have been born later, Like, that's not my fault.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, so this was weird. One of the people was, like, my best friend growing up. They're Hawaiian, and their dad was a former Hawaiian Yakuza.
Okay.
And after his second kid, he basically was at like a high point in the group, but he wanted out. He wanted to be a family man by that point. He wanted to retire from it.
He's trying to get out of it.
Yeah, and he just straight up went to his boss and it's just like, I got a third kid on the way, and I need out of this. I can't have them going through this kind of stuff. And he's just like, okay. And he's just like, well, take a ticket to Vegas, and you're going to take it by boat, and that boat's not going to show back up. It's going to go under somewhere halfway. And he's just like, you sure? And he's like, yeah, you've done good. And so he left that way, disappeared. New person shows up in Vegas kind of deal. And They're living in the project still, which kind of sucks. But um, his two older siblings, until about middle school, were like in this yakuza household, and now they weren't in that anymore. They were now in like these projects, and then him and
Okay.
his younger
Okay.
brother were born and raised in Vegas. Um, but he told me one time, he's just like, none of my kids are going to college, and it's like that's why I'm going to buy them anything they want. And it's like they had every game system, they had dirt bikes, ATVs. They got a car the second they turned 16, kind of deal. They weren't
Damn.
getting any upward education. It's just like that's why I don't care how they do in school. It's just like if they can, get by with, because there are high-paying, low-requirement jobs out there.
Right.
And if they can find those, I'm fine with that. I'll let them live here all their life, and he does. His oldest son he's got grandkids now living in his house.
Jesus,
Yeah.
dude. That's kind of wild. That shit still just exists now. It's like people pretend we're like not in the wild west still sometimes, but like we really are out here just fucking. Dude, I don't know. This is unrelated. This sounds dumb, but did you hear the third? I think Utah getting arrested for the for Capitol Hill insurgent stuff.
I did not.
Yeah, there's another third one that's like I think that. Pretty sure it's the third Utah that's been arrested and would not just like lightly arrested, but they have like good proof that they were doing some fuck shit. I should have probably looked a little bit more into this before I brought it up, but like
probably like actual conspiracy and intention.
Yes, it's more not just it's not as much that they were just there, but they were the ones kind of like plotting through it through the what the fuck was that stupid app Parlor?
Yeah, that's actually coming back to the Apple Store.
Are you fucking kidding me?
They got greenlit to go back to the Apple Store under the pretense that they have higher monitoring capabilities now. So, which I think is funny because the whole reason they made it is so that way there wouldn't be any of this monitoring stuff that you see on Twitter and shit. And
yeah, so it'd be uncensored.
It'd be uncensored now. They're basically, it's like, yeah, it can show up if you censor it.
Have you heard about the MyPillow guy's new social media site he's trying to create? Dude, okay, let me pull it up here. Fuck, this is good. It's called something. I don't know if it's called like
My social.
No, it's called like almost like Fact or something like that. Hold on, one sec. And it's like meant to be on this whole pretense of like you can spit facts there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But the biggest irony of this whole thing is there's a few words you're not allowed to say that will like complete censor your posts and take them off, and they're all religious ones. Like you can't take the Lord's name in vain. You can't say fuck. But he's trying to create this whole platform that's like we won't censor your speech.
Right.
But it's fucking.
What is that? It's kind of like Renaissance science.
Right.
Like you could do science all you wanted. You just had to make sure at the end of the day you said the Lord taught you that.
Dude. Okay, so I got it right here. What's it called again? What's the fuck it called? Oh, it hasn't been launched. Come on. Give me the fucking name. We're going to have to maybe cut some of this. Frank. It's called Frank. Frank.
Just
so Frank. Yeah. So it's kind of playing on the whole concept of like, let me be Frank.
Yeah.
Right. So the whole thing's called Frank.
Okay.
And it's actually not on any app stores, because none of the app stores will allow it.
Oh,
so you
like
actually have to, you have to actually access it through a web browser.
Okay.
And it's called Frank, and it's supposed to be this just kind of like where you can go post. I'm assuming, kind of all your right-wing wild boy shit. That's what I'm assuming. But the thing that's kind of crazy about it is he is literally just banning like anything that's like the Lord's name in vain, the C word. Okay, all right. So from his own words in a podcast, he says, you don't get to use the 4 swear words: the C word, the N word, the F word, or God's name in vain.
Interesting.
Which, like, it makes me goddamn want to say all. I almost said all 4. 3 of the 4. I think I'm allowed to say.
Cut his mic.
We're gonna cut that. Oh, fuck. Dude, okay, actually, this goes on. This is actually my main thing I wanted to bring up and talk with you today. And do you have that Discord file? That thing I sent you by chance?
Yeah, let me open it up.
This is some wild Utah local shit we need to talk about right now.
Utah School District says it will revise project where students wear randomly.
There was a teacher out there straight up trying to do a role play of slaves and slave masters with 4th graders with her fucking history class.
Oh, man.
And I'm not joking about this. So one of the things that I have fucking screenshotted from this too, that I need to go to another doc to find. Okay, so down in Provo, there's a 4th grade history teacher that wanted to do, and I read this whole article to make sure I got my facts in straight, but she was trying, and I don't want to say that I think her intentions were good, but I can see how it was like slightly a right idea, but executed so badly. They wanted to do throughout the whole semester, they wanted to randomly assign all of their students one of 8, I think, different types of characters maybe during the slave period and during American slavery, and you had to try and understand what it would be like to be that person.
Okay.
Among that includes, fucking hell, let me try and pull this up here. Goddamn, I look like an idiot now. I'm just gonna have to go to the article real quick. It was mostly the big uproar. Not only was this person doing like, it's the article is kind of labeled as like a slave and slave master thing, but right. they tried to do like 8 different characters that was like an enslaved person, a runaway slave, a freed slave, a plantation owner, and then there was female specific ones that were like wife of a plantation owner and all these things. And your whole intention was like supposed to that you go through this class, essentially trying to learn it from the perspective of this character that you've been.
Right.
However, the huge backlash came from when the parents of the teacher and when the parents of the students reached out to the teacher and were asking questions about. Actually, I finally got it here. Let me read the different things. So, your different options that they were assigned to were enslaved, freedmen, escaped from slavery, plantation owner, farmer, factory worker, female only, a field nurse, male only, a factory owner, male only, a soldier, male only, an officer, and female only, a pretend to be male soldier. So that was all the characters they were given.
Okay.
One student in this class, the parent emailed the teacher and said, I'm not comfortable with my kid participating in this exercise. I think for context, it might be worth noting that this is a black student in this class, and it's his father emailed in and said, "I'm not."
Is it where you asked for the alternate assignment?
He asked for the
I'm looking
alternate
at it right
assignment,
here, yeah.
and you're reading the quote that the teacher said that I will make sure that your students on the north side of this argument, not the south side. What the fuck? Dude, I mean, like, the whole insensitivity of, like, the concept
Right.
of the assignment is crazy. But then when people are speaking out against you and you're going to straight up just go on some lashes of just, like, oh, no. Like, I'll make sure that, like, you... Oh. I don't even know where to begin, dude.
Yeah. I mean, so one of the things, too, in it that I noticed was... she states that she wants students to make their own conclusion from it. And it's just like you can't do that.
No, you're talking to fourth graders.
You're talking to fourth graders. They're not going to make.
You need to be leading their conclusions to. That's the fucking point of you as a teacher.
Right.
You're supposed to be guiding these.
If you do this in like a high school setting, you can allow them to make their own conclusions. But when you do it with fourth graders, you have to explain what's going on to them. It is
your obligation to properly explain what the fuck happened in America and not fucking put people in these fucking, like, they're acting out the slave trade route. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's fucking, I saw that article last night and it blew my fucking mind that this shit is happening. Fucking 60 miles south of where we are, you know what I mean? This isn't fucking deep south. This is fucking Provo, Utah. This fucking
well be deep south, honestly.
What's that?
Might as well be deep south.
God damn, it is the deep south, bro. Now I have to ask you a wild boy question.
All right.
If you had to be any of those characters, which one would you choose?
There was a runaway slave, right?
There's enslaved, freedman, escaped from slavery, and plantation owner, farmer, factory worker, soldier, and officer. That's what you're allowed to be.
See, the escape from slavery might have a pretty dope story.
That's what I'm thinking, dude. Like,
cool.
That kind of sounds cool.
All the other things would suck.
Dude, you just gotta be a soldier and you're out there fucking, like, your whole thing is like, I'm just dying for some rich dude trying to keep his slaves.
Right.
Like,
or you're the rich dude trying to keep his slaves. There's nothing great about that.
God, dude,
it's
you're
just like
just a
you don't
piece
want
of
to
shit.
be that guy.
You don't want to be that guy either. Fuck, that's the only one.
What is it? A factory worker.
Factory worker. All right, that's cool. You're just doing your thing. Like, you're just trying to go to work. Like, you're just trying to be at the thing.
Slave just sucks in general. And then, like, Freeman seems like it would be a less interesting version of the escaped slave. Like, you escaped legally.
And it also sounds like it's.
You're more like.
Do you think that's been like whitewashed to seem better than it was? Because, like, I can't imagine that, like, once you got freed as a slave, I know you're like, whatever, the whole thing was, 40 acres and a mule or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, that's not shit. Now all of a sudden you gotta fucking, like, just fend for. I don't know how to explain it other than I can't imagine that the life being, like, immediately freed was
right. Well, that was the thing, is that you got freed. And all it meant is that you're gonna go do the same thing, but then get paid.
Right, and
like,
have to
need your wage too,
and get paid in fucking Dale bucks, which you can only cash in at your owner Dale's house, you know, and Dale's shop.
So it's like slavery with compensation,
dude.
At the end of the day. But no, that is the other thing too. Is that so? I remember seeing a thing a while back about his family got freed, and I think it was in Wyoming, of all places. And the daughter, out playing in the backyard, accidentally hit an oil pocket. And so that family became rich off oil.
Okay.
And they became so rich that Wyoming gave them the highest title of honor they could and made them official white people.
No.
Yeah.
No.
They were documented as official white people.
I don't even know what to fucking say right now, dude. Like, Do you know what the other big irony of this is? We're two official white people
We're
talking about
people.
this whole subject. Whitewashing is my favorite. Just kidding. Jesus Christ, what am I saying?
You know, I always wondered if, like, the English won, this was still an English colony, would there still have been, like, all the stuff that happened?
Damn, if America was still British right now.
Right.
You know what I honestly think? I think it would be worse.
Yeah? Because I know Britain technically freed slavery way before we did. It was actually one of the things that they were trying to leverage to get people to swap sides during the Revolution.
Right, I get that, but...
They basically put a message out to all the slaves, hey, if you defect on your master and come here, you're free, kind of deal. But, you know, they probably went over there.
Was that anti-slavery, or was that anti, like, trying to fight America? Like,
yeah.
I don't know how to say that.
I mean, end of the day, they probably had the same situation. They went back and they got, like, 40 acres and a mule.
Right.
Just now on the smallest, shittiest island in the world.
You're fucking in worse situation. I hate to say it. Like, I don't know, dude. I think I have...
Because that was the other thing, too, is that, let's say they actually went through with that and they won, and there's no room for them on England, so they'd send them back to America to get their 40 acres. And now they're just surrounded by a bunch of people that see them as the reason they're still under British rule. It probably would have increased the divide.
Would have been worse.
Yeah.
Would have been worse.
But then my other concept, too, is like, you know, when the Civil War happened, would England, if they were still in control, like the royalty stepped in and been like, hey, this is how it's going to go kind of deal? We're going to send troops to take care of this? Or would it have just been like, go do what you do?
I don't know, dude. This might... I'm going to probably be sounding so right-wing this whole episode, which is ironic because it's not what I am. But, like, I don't know. I think as much as America sucks, there's a lot of bullshit we deal with here. No doubt.
Yeah.
It sucks, but it is a better... I don't want to say the best, but it is still a good melting pot of cultures. Fuck, I don't even know what's going on right now with, like, George Floyd trials, so it's even wild to be saying this. It's like, right. I know, and be talking about, like, how it's such a good melting pot and cultures are so awesome, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
like,
that's the double-edged sword of America, is that we have cultures merging while simultaneously clashing.
Dude, the biggest...
And that's something you can't avoid in any kind of situation. I mean, you put any two cultures next to each other, they're going to fuse in some ways and they're going to clash in others, kind of deal. And so, you know, we're seeing stuff that's been going on forever, and there's certain stuff that is avoidable and certain stuff that I think is unavoidable. And... end of the day, I think it comes down to individuals representing the whole in a lot of ways.
Makes sense. Get you.
But we're also looking at situations where you have individuals attempting to represent the whole, which is...
They don't actually represent the whole, but they're claiming to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's one of these weird situations. I mean, you can have someone go up and say, not all white people, to someone that's also saying all white people. ACAB to someone saying not all cops, kind of deal.
Yo, do you want to know something that's wild about this, actually, now that you're saying this, bro? Dude. I actually was like 3 days late on the whole George Floyd story.
Yeah?
Actually, yeah. If my memory suits me correctly, I'm pretty sure it was either Thursday or Friday he passed.
Mm-hmm.
And that led to the riots that happened all across the country all that weekend.
The first wave?
The initial, like, the day after it happened wave. I actually went camping.
I remember that. I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah, and we went down and
you came home and just saw everything was... Yeah.
We came back and it was just wild to see that, like turned on our phones driving back in on Sunday, and we were getting texts like, "You okay? You okay? You okay?"
Yeah.
And we're like, "What the fuck are you even talking about?" And we had to like pull up the phones, and I won't get into the details. It was an interesting car ride home. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of chatting about the whole concept of what everything was going on. You know what I mean? And it was wild to be almost just hit with it in the face in a car ride that's like 2 hours. That you gotta just like, all right, I can't look up anything, but I gotta just like try.
But you're so curious now.
So curious, you know what I mean? And I'm like, well, what happened? And I'm like, my wife's like, I don't know. Like, there's just been riots. And like somebody got murdered, I think, by a cop. And I'm like, was it in Salt Lake? Like, I literally was so oblivious to everything, and I didn't know about it for like 3 days. And that itself was kind of wild.
Because I know Salt Lake at the time actually did have a headline riot.
Salt Lake got wild when that shit happened.
Salt Lake had that nut that just showed up with a bow and arrow.
Holy fuck, and he just shot the bow at the dude.
Everyone. He just went out.
He did specifically, if you watch the video, he does. Like, there's some dude on the ground and he aims, and thank fucking Christ he missed. And I also, like, people tried to talk shit on this dude, but I'm going to take a wild boy stance here. Thank fucking God to the skateboarder who was there. Because if you watch the video, there's a dude who jumps over a fucking car right after he does it with a longboard and cold clocks this guy with his skate trucks right in the head. And a lot of people are like, you shouldn't be hitting people with your skate. No, if you're fucking firing an arrow into a crowd, you get trucks to the face, dude. I'm sorry, eat skate wheels.
Here's the other wild thing, too. They arrested him and then let him go
same
night.
Let him fucking...
And it's just like, in response, they found his truck and burnt it, but...
Yeah, the dude, I heard those stories, and there was nothing that made me happier. I was watching it, and I was like, that dude should get trucks to the face, and his car should get burned. I don't know, but, like, fuck that guy, dude. You don't get to just fucking walk out into a crowd. And apparently I heard he was saying some wild boy shit before. Like, it's not like he was just walking around with a bow and arrow, and somebody hit him in the face. He's sitting there shouting out some racial slurs, talking about how he's there to defend the police, and pointing a bow at people. Like, no, you don't get to do that, my guy.
The police don't need your defense, my man.
Your fucking weak ass bow and arrow skills couldn't even hit let's be honest, didn't even fucking get close to the guy he was aiming for. Like, he was 3 feet away and he missed by 3 feet.
The dude's on the ground too.
God damn you, they don't need your help.
I'm here to protect. They wouldn't let me into the police academy. I couldn't pass a psych evaluation.
Oh my God, dude. Where were you on January 6th is my favorite question.
Dude, that was a wild week in itself, because I'm pretty sure... Or no, it was that whole month. Every Wednesday was like some prominent event. It was like a second impeachment, and then the next one was like, I think Biden was in, and then the riot. And it was just like every Wednesday, some new thing happened.
Something got wilder. Dude, so the riots started around like noonish. They picked up by about 1-ish is when they really started to get like wild and televised. And I worked an early morning shift that day, so I worked a 1 to 5:30. A 5 to 1:30. God damn it! And when I got home at 1:30 in the afternoon, my wife was like, "Are you seeing what's going on?" And I was just like, "I don't know what you're talking about. Like, give me context, please." She was just like, "There are riots at the Capitol right now. Like, just turn on your phone." And I sat there for the next like 4 hours, just like watching podcasts, watching the videos, scrolling Reddit, just literally being like, what the fuck am I watching? Like, I watched that live pan out. Reminded me of the Boston bomber when they caught him. Years ago. I watched that one live pan out, drunk as fuck overnight at a party. All of a sudden, the whole vibe changed when like they turn on the TV and it's like 1 a.m. being like, they're on a road chase with the Boston Bomber, and then all of a sudden you're like drinking, cheering on this weird like road chase that took like 4 hours, and you're sitting there at a party weirdly like it's some fucking boxing match or something. And you're like fucking, yeah, get him. Like, what the fuck, dude? I can't believe just watching those moments live in history. You know what I mean? You're like, ugh.
I know there's like a lot of real weird speculations around that whole thing too, that it was all set up. The riots.
Set up by who?
Well, that's the interesting thing, because like there's supposedly photos behind the scenes of like them stopping and having a full camera crew for photo ops in there, especially the guy with like the whole headdress thing going on. He had like a full entourage following him around to get like all these photogenic shots of him and shit like that.
You're right. The QAnon shaman.
Right. Well, that's the other thing too that someone tried to bring up, which was always interesting, is they were convinced he was a crisis actor. Which I fucking love the conspiracies of crisis actors too, because I remember when there was like that wave of
Alex Jones.
Yeah, there was like that wave of school shootings, and some person kept claiming like one of the major figures of those teenagers that was always speaking up was a crisis actor, just because he showed up at every single event.
That's why I said Q Alex Jones. It's Alex Jones who's always been that motherfucker. I mean, maybe I shouldn't be saying his name or else our shit will get shut down, but like, he's the one who got sued and fucking is losing millions of dollars for claiming the Sandy Hook shooting was fucking crisis actors.
Right.
Parkland, dude.
Yeah.
R.I.P. This fucking country is just shooting up everything, and it's getting even fucking crazier right now. I don't get it.
I know. I'm on the firm belief too that they're missing the target with what they're supposed to be like addressing this as. Because they're very much sitting down trying to look at like, okay, how can we prevent these people from getting guns? And it's like, well, you don't do it by preventing everyone from getting guns. You do it by, finding the other reasons
why certain people shouldn't be getting their damn guns.
Because if you look at the last couple shootings, the big one is that Colorado shooting.
Right.
The guy had a patrol rifle. Patrol rifles are a specific brand of rifles that were made for the police after the Columbine shooting. Because when the Columbine shooting happened and the police arrived, they were horribly outmatched.
Okay.
Firearm-wise. So since then, they've kind of implemented these patrol rifles that are meant to deal with higher caliber combatants. He could not have acquired that legally in any way. And that's one of the things I always think about, is that the last 3 major shootings, these people could not have legally acquired firearms. And yet they had firearms.
Dude, isn't the last shooting I just read the other day saying that the shooter, forgive me if I misspeak here, it was either Indiana or Illinois, like just a day or two ago.
Yeah.
3 people were killed, and the mass shooter's mom told the police like right afterwards, like, yeah, he has crazy mental illnesses.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he shouldn't.
All these people have insane mental illness. They shouldn't be able to get a firearm.
No, and it's wild. Like, why can't that correlation be seen?
Right, and they're coming in. They're like, yeah, we're gonna up our background checks and stuff, and it's like, your baseline should be enough to weed these people out, and it's not. That's
not even
problem.
Close.
Yeah. The other thing too is that you don't have a background check when you get an illegal firearm, which is very easy to do.
Right.
So,
dude, everything's such a fucking gray area, and do you know what I'm realizing? Yeah. This is something I'm realizing as an adult, is like the concept of the more you know, the more you realize how much you don't know.
Yeah.
And it's every time I start trying to dissect a topic like this, you know what I mean? Like, I really realize that, like, I don't know the fucking answer.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to try and pretend I do, because every time I fucking think I do and I present an argument, there's always a counter that I'm like, fuck, all right, now, like, back to the drawing board. All right, okay, you just fucked my whole argument right there.
Right.
Like,
that's what's always scary, is like, me and my buddies can talk about this kind of stuff for a whole night, and not come up with a solution by the end of it. And yet, politicians are going up. It's like, I got the solution. I'm putting it into action. It's like, how did you come up with it?
You don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
You people have no worldly experience.
You bullshit ass motherfucker. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Yeah. Dude, and I just talked to this weekend with my dad about this. Mm-hmm. My dad just laughed. He's like, you think I knew anything raising you? Like, he jokes all the time with me, like, dude, you know more words than I do. Like, I think you're more. I'm like, dog, Dad, you're like, what? Like,
don't tell me that.
I thought you're supposed to be like the man, Mr. Educated, and here I am, like, wait, you're telling me you think I know more than you? Like, no, don't say that, dude.
Yeah. All right, we're hitting the 58-minute mark. Just a heads up.
I was just about to ask that. What's our time at? Fuck, we hit an hour?
We hit about an hour, yeah.
We just hit an hour.
Granted, we should probably go a few more minutes because your mic
was being weird at the beginning.
Right. So.
Fuck it. Hold on here. Let me fucking pull up a topic.
I'm down to do a second one after this if you want to cover more topics.
Might be.
All right.
Hold up here. Nah, nothing that short.
All right.
Yo,
we'll
no. We'll just cut that.
All right. You want to save it for the next one?
Save it for the next round.
All right.
Everyone listening, thank you for fucking listening. I'm pretending to do an outro like I know what the fuck I'm doing.
I don't even think we did an intro. We clapped.
Fucking intro. We only do outros here. Maybe next episode we'll be prepared enough for an outro. Love y'all, dogs. Have a good day.